How can a story, one filled with whimsical, magical children, actually challenge our deepest prejudices? And maybe even transform how we think about what it means to belong?
That's a great question to start with.
Welcome, everyone, to this unique deep dive. Today, we're looking at a really compelling book, T.J. Klune's The House in the Cerulean Sea. We're going to explore how this, enchanting narrative functions as a powerful statement, how it uses fantasy to get at some pretty profound social commentary.
And we should mention you are experiencing a unique two-host AI conversation powered by Google's NotebookLM, which allows us to get into deeper, more dynamic book analysis.
Right.
So our mission today really is to unpack how Klune builds this story that manages to be both comforting and at the same time quite challenging.
Yeah.
We'll look at how he constructs his argument, essentially, how he makes his case to you, the reader, inviting you not just to enjoy his story, but to really engage with its message, that core message of acceptance.
That definitely sets the stage. So maybe let's start with the author and the context around the book.
Good idea.
Okay, so T.J. Klune. He's an acclaimed American author known for, centering LGBTQ plus characters in his fantasy and romance writing.
And what's really compelling, I think, is how his own experiences, he's open about his asexuality, his queerness, neurodiversity, how those things clearly fuel his commitment to, inclusive stories.
Absolutely. He champions things like found families, acceptance, diversity.
Yeah.
It makes his voice feel very authentic, doesn't it?
Definitely. And the timing of the book's release, 2020, that's important too.
Right.
It landed right in the middle of all these urgent conversations happening globally about identity, belonging, systemic discrimination.
And he's pointed to specific influences, hasn't he? Like the 60 scoop in Canada.
Exactly. That history of Indigenous children being forcibly removed from their families, he connects that and the general plight of marginalized kids directly to his fantasy world. It's not just abstract.
So it links the fantasy to real trauma, real injustice.
His goal seems clear. Confront that kind of institutional exclusion, but also, crucially, offer some genuine hope.
So he wasn't just trying to write like a fun escape.
No, I don't think so. I mean, it is comforting, but it's doing more. It's challenging prejudices, celebrating nonconformity. It's escapist, sure, but it's also deeply thought-provoking.
It invites you to really look at these systems, these mindsets that box people in.
And who's it for? Well, the audience seems pretty broad, actually, from teens up to adults.
Yeah.
It really resonates with people looking for that uplifting, inclusive fantasy, and readers interested in social justice, chosen family, LGBTQ plus rep. They connect with it deeply.
It speaks to their values, their experiences.
Precisely.
So at its heart, the book is about Linus Baker's journey, right? This very solitary, by-the-book caseworker.
Yeah, rules and regulations are his life.
Until he gets sent to inspect this remote orphanage for magical children, each one seen as other by society. Dangerous, maybe.
And that assignment just completely turns his world upside down. It pushes him into self-discovery, questioning authority.
And finding this completely unexpected family.
Right. And the tone of the book is set almost immediately. That opening line, "Oh dear, this is most unusual."
Yeah, it's got that whimsical feel right away.
Klune builds this gentle, compassionate tone. There's a real warmth and emotional sincerity there.
But it's not just cozy, is it? That warmth is doing something else.
Exactly. It subtly critiques the coldness of bureaucracy, the prejudice hiding behind rules. It kind of disarms you while making its point.
That emotional pull is so strong. How does it actually persuade you, connect with you as a reader? It seems to use those classic rhetorical appeals, starting with ethos credibility.
For sure. Klune himself, as a Lambda Literary Award winner, being open about his identity, that gives him instant credibility, doesn't it?
Yeah, it feels earned. He's aligned with the message.
He's writing from a place of understanding. It makes the plea for empathy feel really genuine.
And the book's own world building adds to that credibility too, right? The internal logic of it all.
Yes. The magical regulations, the bureaucracy, the Ion Army, it all has its own, consistent logic. It makes sense within the story's world.
So the moral lessons don't feel forced. They feel like they grow naturally out of the situation.
Exactly. The character choices, Linus's transformation, it all feels motivated and believable within that context.
And then there's pathos, the emotional appeal. That feels absolutely central.
Oh, completely. The character struggles, isolation, shame, feeling judged. It's rendered so deeply, you really feel their vulnerability.
Like Sal hiding his scales or Talia just wanting a hug. Small moments, but powerful.
It comes through in the dialogue, the setting, even the humor, which can be quite touching.
And that gradual building of trust
Yeah.
between Linus and the kids and between Linus and Arthur Parnassus.
Yes. Watching those relationships develop, it evokes such strong empathy. You feel invested. You're kind of on that journey with them, reflecting on your own ideas about connection and family.
You really are. And finally, logos, the logical appeal. It's not like a formal argument.
No, definitely not.
But Linus's change makes sense, logically. You follow his thinking as he sheds their rigidity. It's based on what he sees and experiences.
Right. When he sees the kids thriving under Arthur's care, despite their labels, it logically forces him to reconsider his own prejudices. It's a rational shift driven by evidence, in a way.
So let's unpack the craft a bit more, the specific strategies Klune uses.
Okay. Well, the language itself is pretty accessible, but he blends whimsical tones with Linus's initial formality.
Which perfectly mirrors Linus's shift, right? From bureaucrat to mentor.
Exactly. You notice the gentle words, maybe some repetitive phrasing early on, showing Linus's caution, and then it just sort of melts into this warmer, more open style.
And the dialogue for the kids is just fantastic. Each one sounds so distinct.
Yeah, Lucy, Chauncey, Talia, they all have unique voices, sometimes funny, sometimes heartbreakingly honest.
It really brings them to life and pulls you in emotionally. And the imagery, too. Marsyas Island.
Oh, the descriptions are so vivid. The island, the house itself, it creates this palpable sense of wonder, but also safety. A place where being different is okay. Celebrated, even.
It feels like a haven.
And he uses metaphor really effectively. The sea around the island.
Symbolizing Linus's changing views.
Yeah, maybe his inner turmoil, the shifting perspectives. And the house becomes more than a building. It's protection, it's unconditional love. They're not just background details, they carry meaning.
Now, the structural stuff is where it gets really fascinating, I think. The juxtaposition.
Oh, absolutely. The contrast between Linus's old life, gray, lonely, rule-bound, and the sheer vibrancy and, well, life on Marsyas Island.
Or the cold official mandates from Diakami versus the actual love and empathy happening in the orphanage.
That contrast just hammers home the message, doesn't it? That real connection transcends rules and labels.
And you also mentioned repetition and parallelism.
Yeah. Think about the bureaucratic language Linus uses at the start. In his reports, his thoughts.
Very formal.
And then gradually, it gets replaced by warmer, more personal language. You see his transformation in the words he uses. He starts speaking the language of care, not just regulations.
That's a really neat way to show, not just tell. Okay, digging even deeper. The more advanced techniques. Irony seems huge here.
Definitely. The whole idea of labeling these kids dangerous is constantly undercut by, well, by them just being kids. Kind, vulnerable, wanting connection.
Like Lucy being polite even when he's, being the Antichrist.
Yeah.
Or Fee using her weather powers gently.
Right. It just exposes how absurd and prejudiced those institutional labels are.
And this raises that important question, how does he connect this fantasy to our world? Through illusion.
I think so. He subtly hints at real-world situations, like we mentioned with the 60s Scoop parallels. It draws a line, an allegorical line, to actual systemic issues without being overly preachy.
It lets you make the connection yourself.
Which often makes it more powerful.
Yeah. And humor. We can't forget the humor.
No way. It's not just for laughs, though it is funny. It disarms you, builds intimacy.
And highlights the absurdity of the system. Linus trying to apply regulations to like a sentient blob or a flying kid.
Exactly. It's a brilliant way to make serious points feel lighter and more engaging. It invites reflection through laughter.
All this talk of reflection and digging deeper really makes you think, doesn't it?
It really does. And speaking of reflection, for those of you wanting to explore these kinds of ideas further, our Mindful Moments series over on our YouTube channel offers AI book analysis that's designed to do just that, inspire reflection and critical thought. Something to check out after this.
Good point. So thinking about the whole package, how effective is this book? Does it achieve what it sets out to do?
I think it absolutely succeeds. It manages to be genuinely uplifting while tackling these really heavy, serious themes.
Which is a tricky balance.
Very tricky. But Klune turns that fantasy escapism into a vehicle for pretty sharp social commentary, without losing the charm or the story's momentum.
And it feels accessible to so many people.
Yeah, the emotional intelligence, the way it handles things like trauma, consent, identity. It's done with such sensitivity. It allows for a respectful engagement from a wide range of readers.
And ethically. It affirms diversity, acceptance.
But without feeling manipulative, I think. It doesn't hit you over the head or oversimplify things.
Yeah.
It guides you through the complexity with care.
It trusts the reader.
Right. And what's really interesting is how it allows for different responses. Some readers find refuge in the fantasy, the comfort.
A space.
While others really engage with the allegory, the critique of real-world systems.
And the book holds space for both, doesn't it?
It does. It encourages ongoing dialogue about fantasy versus reality, comfort versus challenge, acceptance versus activism. So the big question it leaves you with is, what does this mean for your understanding of belonging?
That's the takeaway thought, isn't it? Given how this book uses fantasy to critique real systems of othering and prejudice, what does it challenge you to consider about acceptance, belonging, maybe the power of chosen family in our own messy, complex world?
A lot to mull over. And remember, you can find more discussions like this, including those mindful moments we mentioned and other deep dives on our podcasts.
Absolutely. To keep exploring, click the link on screen for a summary of this analysis. Please subscribe to our channel for more conversations like this one.
And share this deep dive with someone else who loves a book that really makes them think.
Consider picking up The House in the Cerulean Sea. The link's there, too, to experience it for yourself.
And most importantly, keep thinking critically about the stories that shape how we see the world.